In Psalm chapter 2, verse 8, the divine narrative continues, presenting a remarkable offer from God to his anointed king. Ask of me, and I will give you the nations for your inheritance, and the ends of the earth for your possession. This verse expands on the themes of sovereignty and divine decree introduced earlier in the psalm, illustrating the expansive scope of the authority that God is prepared to bestow upon his chosen ruler. This passage is particularly striking because it showcases the dialogue between God and his anointed. Here, God is not just making a declaration, he is extending an invitation for the anointed to request dominion over the entire earth. The phrase, "ask of me," suggests a relationship based on communication and mutual acknowledgement. It implies that while God has ultimate authority, he chooses to engage with his anointed in a manner that respects and elevates his chosen leader's role. This interaction reflects a significant theological principle, the idea that God's plans involve his chosen agents actively, inviting them to participate in his divine purposes. The promise that follows, "I will give you the nations for your inheritance and the ends of the earth for your possession," is profound. It signifies a dominion that goes far beyond any traditional earthly kingdom. The nations implies all countries and peoples on the face of the earth, indicating that this rule is not limited to Israel or any single nation, but encompasses all of humanity. The term inheritance connects to the biblical concept where the land of Canaan was promised to Abraham and his descendants as an inheritance. Here, it is magnified to include the entire world, suggesting a fulfillment and expansion of the promises made to Abraham. The phrase, "the ends of the earth for your possession," further emphasizes the totality of this dominion. It suggests there is no limit to the extent of the rule that the anointed king will have. This earthly perspective foreshadows the messianic kingdom prophesied throughout the scriptures, where peace and justice will reign over the whole earth under the leadership of the Messiah, who is Jesus Christ. This messianic expectation is one that looks forward to a time of restored creation where God's will is done on earth as it is in heaven. For believers, this verse offers both hope and a challenge. The hope lies in the assurance of God's control over all things and his plan to establish a world ruled by his appointed king, a world where righteousness, peace, and justice prevail. The challenge is for believers to align themselves with this vision, to live in a manner that prepares for and contributes to the coming kingdom. It calls for a commitment to godly principles and active participation in spreading the knowledge of God's sovereignty and salvation. Moreover, this verse encourages believers to reflect on the nature of their prayers and aspirations. Just as the anointed king is invited to ask for the nations, believers are encouraged to pray boldly and with a worldwide vision, seeking God's kingdom above personal or narrow interests. It's a call to embrace a mission-focused life that looks beyond individual needs to the needs of the world, reflecting the heart of God who desires all people to come to a knowledge of the truth. In our contemporary world, where power struggles, conflict, and division often dominate headlines, Psalm chapter 2, verse 8 provides a contrasting picture of how true power is meant to be exercised, through the authority of God's anointed king, granted by God himself, and exercised in a way that brings blessing to all nations. It reminds us that ultimate authority and victory belong to God, and his plan includes a day when Jesus Christ will reign over a peaceful and just world. Psalm chapter 2, verse 8 not only propels the narrative of the psalm forward, but deepens our understanding of God's sovereign plan for the world. It illustrates the vastness of God's offer to his anointed and underscores the divine commitment to restore and rule the earth through his appointed king. This verse challenges us to look beyond our limited perspectives and to see the world as God sees it, a field ripe for his rule, awaiting the return of his Son, who will bring all things under his just and benevolent reign.